Hai, selamat malam teman-teman. Jumpa lagi di Strive in You episode ke-6 bersama saya Ditri. Semoga teman-teman dalam keadaan sehat walafiat dan masih setia memakai masker, mencuci tangan dan menjaga jarak ya, karena masa pandemi sama sekali belum lewat. Oke, malam ini kita akan ngobrol bersama seorang fitness influencer yang pasti sudah sering menghiasi Instagram feed teman-teman dong. Strivians pasti udah sering banget lihat Saktidin, Instagram feednya Saktidin, di mana Adinda Sukardi ini mengkampanyekan healthy lifestyle, fitness lifestyle, dan merupakan Under Armour Ambassador Indonesia. Adinda ini tuh menurut aku ya, Adinda ini benar-benar contoh yang keren banget, karena sebenarnya di balik apa yang kita lihat di Instagramnya Adinda itu kan she looks really great on Instagram. The camera really loves her, dan Adinda itu selalu sharing insight dan knowledge kalau di Instagram dia soal healthy fitness and lifestyle. Tapi menurut aku Adinda jadi lebih keren lagi ketika aku tahu personal story di balik perjalanan fitnessnya Adinda. Nah, hari ini kita dapat kesempatan buat ngobrol dengan Dinda untuk benar-benar ngobrol heart to heart. Dan di sini Dinda akan menceritakan perjalanan hidupnya and how she came to this point right now. Karena sebenarnya Dinda itu adalah selain merupakan Under Armour Ambassador, Dinda juga merupakan seorang jewelry designer dan punya karir mancanegara gitu loh. Jadi karirnya mulai dari Hong Kong, Vietnam, antero Asia, Amerika, dan sebagainya. Dan sekarang Dinda mendedikasikan dirinya untuk health and fitness. Nah, kita akan cari tahu why. Juga di sini kita akan mencari tahu dari Dinda gimana sih caranya untuk maintain balance body and mind selama kita mengarungi perjalanan health and fitness ini. Dan terutama ini menjadi sangat penting karena di masa pandemi ini ya, siapa sih yang nggak stres ya dengan keadaan serba nggak jelas gitu ya, serba nggak pasti gitu, dan banyak sekali kita dikelilingi oleh banyak sekali negative vibe gitu. Nah, sebelum kita mengundang Adinda, seperti biasa, aku buka aja kacamatanya. Seperti biasa, aku akan mematikan comment section di sini supaya nanti mukanya Adinda bisa kelihatan dengan jelas. Teman-teman Strivians, kalau misalnya ada komen atau pertanyaan, bisa di share di Q&A section. Itu kalau di bawah sebelah komen bar itu ada tanda tanya, bisa klik di sana dan tulis pertanyaannya di sana. Sebentar, saya akan coba disable comment section. Nanti untuk 3 penanya yang kita pilih akan ada giveaway dari Strive seperti biasa. Nanti kita akan coba cek Q&A section. Kita akan pilih 3 pertanyaan yang paling menarik dan 3 penanya tersebut akan mendapatkan giveaway dari Strive. Coba sekarang aku mau cek dulu apakah Adinda sudah hadir. Oh, there she is. At Sakti. Ini berhubung di mirror, aku bingung nih kalau mau berapin harus ke arah mana. Okay.
Iya.
Hello.
Semoga koneksinya bagus. Halo, selamat malam.
Hi. Wait. There's something wrong here.
Halo. Oh.
Hilang. Sebentar ya, mari kita coba lagi. Click send request.
Hai.
Hi.
Adinda.
Hello. How are you? Oh wait. Okay, there you go. Hi. How are you? Hi, D3.
Are you trying to apply the mirror?
I am. I'm trying to find...
Hi.
my face. Never mind. Okay, let's just do this because you can't wait. Okay. How are you?
This is promising to be a really fun session. Selamat malam, Dinda. I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's very nice to be here. I'm looking forward to our session tonight.
Sama, I was also really looking forward to our session tonight. Kalau misalnya koneksinya jadi jelek, filternya bisa
Mm-hmm.
di turn off aja. Kita coba turn off
Okay.
filternya ya, supaya koneksinya
Okay.
menjadi lebih bagus.
Great.
Nggak apa-apa. Ini juga orang yang ini kreatif bisa baca kok ini tulisannya strive in you, ya nggak?
Okay, sweet. Okay, so
Iya.
where should we start?
Jadi tadi aku udah kasih intro sedikit nih soal Adinda.
Mhm.
Yang kita lihat sehari-hari, kita buka Instagram itu kan adalah foto-foto Adinda yang fierce gitu ya. I mean, the camera loves you. Dinda tuh badannya emang cocok banget untuk jadi fitness model, sama memang fotogenik banget. We see your photos
Thank you so
and
much.
we get inspired by your insights karena memang you have a lot of knowledge to share gitu ya. Dan you know, all we see is that you're effortlessly fit, you're effortlessly healthy. Tapi sebenarnya ada cerita kan di balik itu ya. I mean, this is not, ini kan semua pasti terjadi nggak begitu aja kan. Pasti dengan kerja keras, dan yang paling penting aku dikasih tahu kemarin bahwa ada turning point ya di hidupnya Dinda yang membuat Dinda bisa menjadi Dinda yang sekarang.
That's right. That's right. There's definitely a story behind everything. You know, like this physical body of mine right now didn't just magically turn up like that. With hard work, I think, and consistency, you know, I managed to get to where I am today through that very reason. Emang sih dari dulu tipe body aku emang kayak kurus kering, kayak kurus banget. There's not a lot of meat, and I'm not trying to boast about it. It's just a certain body type that I have. You know, some people are very natural. Harder to lose body fat. So emang throughout my life tuh aku bener-bener kurus banget, kurus, and I just felt weak physically. And basically, my background and my history in my fitness journey, it all started because I had a bit of a health scare. And health scare-nya itu dimulai karena emang lifestyle aku zaman dulu emang tidak sehat sama sekali. You know, I used to party hard. You know, I went out a lot, and I drank a lot of alcohol, and just didn't really care so much about my well-being. To cut that long story short, over, you know, a decade of an unhealthy lifestyle, there was one moment where I drank a beer and it triggered something in my body that allowed one of my kidneys to not function properly. So like my body started bloating up. This was in Vietnam. My body started bloating up. I had to cut off bracelets in my wrist because it was cutting circulation. And it was a very scary time because...
This was 1 year. Hang on, this was... Stop. This was 1 beer, right? And then you woke up.
Yes.
Bloated.
So like...
That's like you found yourself, you were used to drinking a lot, and this was 1 beer and it triggered something. Yes. I just wanted for everyone to kind of like take that in for a bit. Kayak ini kan cuman bir gitu, satu gitu.
I minum alcohol. So it was very strange that 1 beer can trigger something in my body, you know, causing an organ to not function because of a previous lifestyle that I used to, you know, be so deep in. Jadi that 1 beer really, you know, changed my life, so to speak. So after being in that position, in that very terrifying position, after I was well enough to fly, I flew back to Hong Kong. At that time, I was still working in Hong Kong, and I went to see the doctors, and they analyzed me, and both the Eastern and Western doctor told me that my kidneys weren't functioning properly. And it was something that I was really
Oh my
embarrassed
God.
about, like I,
Mm.
it was something that I couldn't really talk about with my friends or even my family because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. It's because of,
Mm.
parting that I'm going through what I'm going through. So at that point of my life, it really changed me. And it was so terrifying that I decided to promise myself to change my lifestyle completely. So that's when I
Yeah.
started my Sakti Din account on Instagram. And I started that account bukan sebagai I wasn't aspiring to be an influencer or to be an athlete or a fitness
Mm.
um, uh, a fitness individual in the fitness world. I just wanted to start a journal, and I was a pretty visual person, so Instagram was the perfect way for me to post pictures and just like, hey, okay, Saturday, 17th of August, 2000, what, like 15, and just post what I ate that day for breakfast, a healthy meal, or it could be something like an exercise log that I tried out. I promised myself to keep myself accountable in posting one thing every single day since
Mhm.
2015, kalau nggak salah. And
Mhm.
that's essentially how all of this have started for me.
Right. Right. So when you started this journey, you said the Instagram account was to keep you motivated because you set yourself a goal to post, one thing to keep you accountable every single day. But tell us a bit about the struggles. And surely you must have, I mean, we've all been there, right? Food diaries and
Mm.
training plans. You've certainly had relapses. Tell us a bit about the struggle in the beginning. Ada nggak relapse atau ada nggak kayak, aduh, males nih terus tiba-tiba lewat seminggu gitu. Kayak
Mm,
gimana?
mm, mm.
How did you deal with, like, what was the journey like in the beginning?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you my experience, and I feel I feel like there's two types of character behavior in approaching something new, in changing
Mm-hmm.
or turning something around for the better. And I feel like I've been in both places, both of these characters and behavioral characteristics. The first one is when I first started Sakti Din, I was in a place of trauma. In a sense where I just went through something quite serious that scared me, um, and I don't ever want to put myself in that position again. So I feel like if for someone to have gone through a trauma like that, or maybe you can say like a breakup or a divorce or something that's traumatic, an accident or a life-threatening event, that's all traumas. The approach is easier for you to just like go 100% in and not look back and not question
Yeah,
yourself. So you know what I
yeah,
mean? So like in the
yeah.
beginning with Sakti, because of that trauma, I was able to just like, I made a promise, uh, and I want to keep it. I'm committed, and there wasn't. I mean, fortunately, there wasn't any obstacles that I have to deal with where I had to like push myself off of bed and really like tell myself to do something
Mm-hmm.
and something healthy. So in the beginning, um, I didn't have any struggles, but I wasn't also going um, uh, for a whole 6 month fitness plan that I bought online or anything like that. I took baby steps, and what I did was I planned those baby steps by the night. Jadinya, I wasn't planning for a week. I just looked in the short term. Okay, what can I do tomorrow to make this possible, to make this commitment sustainable? So that's what I did. I planned always right before I go to sleep. I write down what I wanted to do, all the healthy things that I wanted to do, like what did I want to eat for breakfast? What exercise will I be doing from, my research on that night? Because when I did start, I started at zero. I had no knowledge of any kinds of. I went through YouTube. I went through Instagram accounts that really inspired me. But back then, Instagram was not really a place for influencing. It was such a new thing, So I read a lot,
Yeah.
and
Online
and
photo
reading.
book.
Yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
like the filters our cameras are not even that great. Like if you scroll all the way down, like all the photos are like so pixelated.
Banget.
Yeah, nggak sih?
Iya.
So I just I did my own research, and I think that's really important. And I think that's what people need to do these days, and not just like, oh, follow. Even though I am a fitness influencer and an athlete, and I do post some of my workout videos, I don't just follow the movements just because one person is doing it. Like learn about your body and like learn about the history of your body, whether or not you've gone through accidents or injuries in the past, and learn if it's good for you, and manage your time properly. So for me, I took it baby steps. I took a sustainable approach to my life-changing Sakti Din account or journal. But that said, the second type of character behavior is for someone that's never gone through that traumatic experience, meaning maybe they've had an overweight issue all their life, or maybe they have, insecurity problems that have been rooted from when they were little, and they don't know about it. Maybe they're just lazy, or maybe they're just making excuses. So that kind of behavior, I feel like I feel like the solution is the same. You have to plan. You have to plan, and you have to take baby steps. Because it doesn't matter if you have money or you don't have money to invest in like a program that's, I don't know, 1 or 2 or 3 million for a couple of months. You buy that program, you have the money, but if it's overwhelming and it's just so much information, you're not going to do it. I think the human behavior reacts when something is easy, when something is approachable, and it doesn't take much work.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So you have to make those small plans and baby steps. Like you don't have to work out like 40 minutes every single day. Like just start by 5 minutes a day when you wake up, or maybe like 3 minutes of movement. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. This journey is for yourself and for yourself only. And there's steps, there's process to get through to all the strength, all the fancy moves that all these athletes are doing on Instagram that we so often see on social media. So you have to learn to be able to be humble to yourself and give yourself the kindness to just take baby steps, knowing that those baby steps will lead to the goal where you want to go. So that's, I feel, two types of character behaviors, but one solution really. Don't overfill your plate. It's like a toothpaste, I guess. Like when you squeeze it out, it's so difficult to put stuff back in. So it's harder to step back. So you might as well just take small steps, but know that it will be consistent and you will keep moving forward. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that taking baby steps is the sustainable approach, and that however that our brains are wired in a way. I mean, ada scientist yang bilang bahwa otak kita itu efisien. Jadi pokoknya kalau ada cara males, pasti yang diambil cara males. Kalau ada shortcut, pasti yang diambil cara shortcut, ya jalan pintas gitu ya. Tapi juga ternyata brain kita punya satu lagi flaw. Otak kita itu butuh sekali instant gratification. Jadi butuh sekali melihat hasil dengan cepat gitu kan, hasil dengan instan. Ini aku udah udah workout nih kayak Saktidin, udah seminggu, kok masih belum bisa kayak dia ya kalau foto gitu. Badannya masih nggak nggak persis sama Mbak Dinda gitu. Itu maksudnya buat Dinda kan juga pasti prosesnya panjang nih ya, penuh dengan kerja keras gitu ya. Itu gimana ya caranya biar tetap bisa fokus dan nggak putus asa, nggak cari hasil instan tuh gimana, Din?
You're right. I think you're right. Our brain is definitely wired for instant gratification, and that goes within the aesthetic side of our physicality. You know, people want to work out because they want abs. People want to work out because they want to, you know, they want to be able to like lift heavy stuff um, or be able to do a pull up, and like aesthetically they want their biceps bigger or like a bigger butt. It's naturally ingrained marketing that's been going on in our lives for the past few decades. So it's really hard to kind of deplete that from our brain because naturally, as humans, especially right? So by doing that, you want to look the best that you can. You want to have a sexy butt. You want to have the abs. You want to have all the aesthetics that that the market one ideal body type. We are all born in different ways, in different bodies. And I think the worst thing you can do is to compare yourself to another person. So when I started this journey,
Right.
all I wanted to think about is me because I've decided to dedicate and commit myself for my health, not for
Mm.
the aesthetic. I never wanted to have abs. I didn't care so much. Uh, I can't speak for the masses. I can't speak for everyone out there because, yes, maybe that's their goal, being having an amazingly sexy body in their own idea, sexy way is their goal. But let me, for those people wanting to look good, to be lean and to be strong and most important, look strong, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy, and it doesn't necessarily mean is stop
Yeah.
comparing your to any of the athletes, fitness influencers out there that you see on Instagram. Instagram is not real life.
Thank you for saying that. I don't think
2015,
I
and
don't
a
think
lot of my
many would admit to that. Thank you for your honesty.
of
This is so
course, I
refreshing.
started this in 2015. You want to focus on your health, you want to focus in leading a better lifestyle, then completely focus on yourself. Don't compare yourself to another person. And also, if you want to learn and dig deep and delve in to what it takes to have a healthy body within the mind, body, and the heart, read. Like you're not gonna get abs in the gym. You're gonna get abs in your kitchen and what you eat. And so you have to always keep your mind open, and you have to always explore all the options, and gain more knowledge through reading information.
Yeah, this is one. Ini adalah satu. I hope it's okay for me to switch back and forth between Indonesian and English, Dinda.
No worries.
Ini salah satu yang membedakan Saktidin atau Adinda dari banyak health and fitness influencer di luar sana, karena Dinda ini terkenal eksploratif, suka mencoba hal-hal baru, suka ilmu, dan yang juga terpenting lagi, Dinda banyak sekali berita, kalau misalnya Google namanya Adinda Sukardi Fitness gitu ya, banyak sekali berita di mana Dinda bilang bahwa sebenarnya kalau mau sehat, maksudnya mau apps-nya bagus dan segala macam tuh kuncinya ada di nutrisi. Jadi Adinda terkenal adalah apa istilahnya advokat untuk nutrisi yang baik gitu ya, nutrisi yang baik bagi kesehatan dan bagi fitness. So you're an advocate of like nutrition. You've been covered in the media a lot, you know, talking about nutrition, healthy nutrition, and that is an integral part of lifestyle, because often people just do the workout and they can get really intense when they do the workout, but they forget about the nutrition part. Can you tell us a bit about what you've discovered in your journey insofar regarding nutrition?
Sure, for sure. So when I first started, obviously my goal wasn't to lose weight. It wasn't even to gain strength. So I was completely lost. I had zero knowledge of nutrition. All I thought was, time, what is eating clean? Like, is it eating? Because from what I know back then, through my friends that were in the fitness world, you know, I always make sure to eat lots of vegetables. I ate good carbs, and a lot to the point where I have to really watch the amount of energy I put into my training day to day. So if I am not giving myself enough protein to help my muscles recover, then the next day my performance will lack. And this also goes with recovery, which means having the right amount of sleep. So if you got 2 checks of working out, great nutrition, but you do not sleep, you do not recover, you do not take the time to slow down, then none of these 2 will work well with the rest of. That's where I had to learn from a coach and really learn about my body, my performance needs for the fuel that I am taking in. And that's been such a rewarding investment for me. A point in my life where I've had gone through injuries, and I haven't been, you know, competitively competing. So I didn't have to follow that routine nutrition. I had an opportunity with Under Armour, the first ever global campaign that I did with them. I only had 2 weeks to train because I was injured. And so change where I couldn't consume any sugar and I wasn't eating carbs. So it was a high protein, high fat diet. And in 2 weeks, I guess it's similar. You would say it would be similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Things that I think people don't understand, um, the results at the end of that photo shoot where my abs are sticking out and it's looking like it's very lean and cutting. Was not pleasant. I was not happy. You know, like I love ice cream. I love noodles. And if I'm not working out that much, I can't really, if I can,
Yeah, sure.
for both photo shoot and performance, I really, really had to just like,
Yeah,
like
I
go
can
through it.
imagine.
And yeah,
I can
and I'm not
imagine.
saying that, hey, I can't.
Yeah.
So, and it's an opportunity to represent Indonesia, you know, an Indo as an Indonesian woman,
Yeah,
and you know, I
it's
would fight for that,
part of
and
what you
that's what I
do.
did.
Yeah, you don't make excuses.
There are
But
times.
now that you aren't training for a race, don't deny that Asian in you and go have that bowl of noodles once in a while. Indulge yourself.
Oh, oh, of course, of course. Right now, you know, hey, I'm gonna be as real as I can possibly can. Right now, since March, probably like I've fluctuated my weight, and have gained, you know, 3 to 6 kilos, because I was also going through a toe injury, which is really annoying, and I'm just starting over again in my training. But you know, I'm happy. We're in a pandemic, for God's sakes, you know, like there's tons
Yeah.
of things to be grateful for, and there's so many athletes out there that are in the same position, and I feel like this pandemic is forcing us to really pause and take care of the important things in life. And you know, having abs is not my priority right now.
Yeah.
I'm still an athlete, and I'm still moving, but to the best of my own
Yeah.
ability, for my mental health, for my heart health, and for my body, for the health of my body. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, talking about the pandemic, you're an athlete, and this is a particularly hard time for athletes because they don't have, races to train for. A lot of, and also you're a coach, so you're probably, and we thrive on communities, right? Being in groups, working out together, etc. It's a particularly hard time for active people. Um,
yeah.
how do you stay sane? How do you stay sane in the pandemic, Dinda? Di mana sebagai influencer kan harus selalu kelihatan positif, harus selalu kelihatan ya menjadi patokan ya, benchmark gitu ya. Orang kan they go to your Instagram to seek inspiration, to like maybe escape
Right,
a bit, right? How do you
right.
like how do you deal with that? Like you're an influencer, you're expected to be a certain way, and physically and also like mentally. What is your recipe for keeping everything together?
I feel like the title of this conversation, this IG Live, is the answer for it. There's three things that I always keep in mind, and that's the mind, the body, and the heart. Most frequently, you hear about you know, the body and the mind and the body. And a lot of people disregard the heart. And I feel like those three play a beautiful dance together if you keep a balance of it. So for me, I feel like you have to caress those three things constantly and make it a balance. You can't just focus on one thing more than the other, and find it more important or prioritize it than the other, because then it will unbalance the whole circulation of what keeps me sane in a way, or keeps the human body and being sane. But you know, a pandemic is not something usual. Even the most dedicated, the most disciplined person in the world are going through something in this pandemic, and you just never know what it is they're going through. And whatever it is that they're going through, you can't compare it. You know, you can't compare someone's pet dying to, like, you know, you getting COVID, or I don't know, because that pet might be there for that person their whole entire life and have saved that person's life. I don't know, whatever, you know, people are always going through something, and you can't take that lightly. So keeping a balance act from the mind, the body, and the heart is so important to me, because it keeps me rooted within myself in a way where, let's talk about the mind. You know, we stimulate the mind a lot. The mind is such a powerful thing. You know, what we think about can manifest into things that we actually action upon, or how we treat people, how we treat ourselves. So it's a very powerful thing. So during this pandemic, I think it's important to take some time to kind of clean out the noise and give space and a moment for you to take a breather within the hectic world that you're dealing with, whether it is at work or families having kids, you know, your health, you know, your friends getting COVID, or, you know, people that you know that didn't really make it from this virus. Take a breather and meditate if that's what you're into. Do breath work. That's what I've been doing, and one of the solutions that I will talk about in a bit. And find peace in your faith. You know, you can be meditation can be in a form of zikir if you're Muslim. You know,
right. Right.
There's
So you
much...
take you schedule time. You apa maksudnya, Dinda tuh bikin waktu setiap hari gitu, ada schedule-nya untuk literally take a moment. Itu beneran ada waktunya gitu setiap hari. Jam berapa sampai jam berapa, or how do you do it?
Jadi, okay, so if you are a person of faith, as you may know or may not know, I'm Muslim. Jadi sholat 5 waktu itu udah bukan harus di-schedulein, emang wajib kan. So
emang wajib ya.
So that for me, it's giving myself a peace of mind. Like I'm giving myself a mind snack or like a mind treat, a mind love. And that's part of my mind routine. Salat 5 waktu, and after that, doing breath work, where I can ease my mind, listen to the sound of my breath, and just be in my present moment without anyone else, just for me. There's the second thing that I want to talk about is the body, right? Like most of the time, a lot of the time when during this pandemic, kita sekarang kerjanya dari rumah semuanya ya. And we're always sedentary. Kita selalu duduk di depan komputer atau duduk di depan TV. We're always laying down. And it's so, yeah kan? And our back starts hurting, our tailbone starts hurting. When we start walking after a while, we start hurting. Even the fittest person will hurt when you sit down for a long time. Jadi, giving yourself body attention, which is the body treat you're giving yourself, the body love, is movement. You know, it can be exercise, it can be yoga, it can be just walking, it can be stretching, it can also be dancing. in your bathroom before you go shower for like 5 minutes. You don't have to dedicate a whole hour to do it. You just have to do it in baby steps, like what we talked about before. Give yourself 2 minutes to just dance like a crazy person in the bathroom or something. So that's the body part. And the third and final part that I try to keep a balance of is the heart, which people disregard most of the time.
The
And
heart.
yes, the heart is so the heart is an organ, right? Like scientifically speaking, it's an organ. It keeps us alive. It beats. But it really is the beating soul of who we are. It is the part of our body that connects and yearns for human connection, and connection within faith, with the unknown. If you don't have specific people in your life, if you don't have family. So I feel like during this pandemic, we may be like, I'm always with my family. We may be under the same roof, but I want to always tell myself to take the time to make just conversation. It doesn't have to be, how are you? Are you doing okay? It doesn't have to be forced like that, but just having a conversation with the phone down, with the laptop closed, and just be like, hey, what are you having for dinner? Or what do you feel like having? You want to have ice cream for dinner with someone you love? I think it's very important. So that's, for me, the
Yeah.
mind, the body, and the heart is really what has kept me during this pandemic. And I feel like that we
Yeah.
humans are so wired for real world connection, and we are analog beings that's living in an increasingly digital world. Um, and there's nothing you can do about it, but how can we deal with that in a pandemic? If you don't have family that you live with, pick up your phone. Don't WhatsApp them. Pick up your phone and just say, hey, what are you doing? Or, have you been
Yeah.
watching any cool shows lately? What books have you been reading? Share some with me. Or like, you want to lash out about your toddler that's being completely insane today? I don't know. Just reach out to someone that you care about, someone that you
Yeah.
love. And that's where the heart connection comes in for me. And I've been very grateful to have my family be there for me to do that with. So there you go.
Yeah.
Mind, body, and heart.
Yeah. Human mind, body, and heart, and all of the three are connected. And I
Right.
really like your point about our need for connection, for human connection, human warmth, but also there's a theme there connecting the three together, mind, body, and heart. That's really wonderful. And it's a constant, it's a daily undertaking. I want to say daily struggle, but probably is not very positive, but it's a daily
Right.
undertaking, as you say, baby steps, right? Baby steps. Think
That's
about
right.
what your heart needs, take a baby step towards it. Think about what your body needs, take a baby step towards it. Think about what your mind needs, what kind of like things you need to let go, right?
Right.
Mentally, and take a baby step. Take a few baby steps towards it. It's really beautiful. There's one question in our Q&A for you, Dinda.
Yes.
In our Q&A box dari editio_1319. Coba kita taruh di sini. Apa kendala-kendala? Nah, tadi kan udah diceritain ya tipsnya Kak Saktidin ya. Gini loh gitu ya. Kita harus menjaga tubuh, mind and heart tetap seimbang. Tapi ada nggak nih? Tell us a bit, kalau mau, boleh nggak gitu Dinda jujur sedikit, jujur banyak juga nggak apa-apa.
Dari
Cerita
tadi udah
dong
jujur.
gitu, ada nggak momen yang aduh gitu, masa pandemi ini kayak aduh gitu, terus kepleset atau down gitu banget gitu, and then what did you do to overcome it?
Banget. I don't usually put, my personal problems on my Instagram platforms. What I'm dealing with, I share and I become vulnerable to the point the full information and detail of what I'm going through. Maybe I will say, "Oh, I've had a bad day," or something happened last night, that really put me off from my sleep, and I need to re-energize and like find positivity. I would share those kind of things, but I like to keep my life private. I think that's a healthy way of dealing through life in this digitally increasing world. But during this pandemic, I went through a lot. Someone I love got COVID, and it was pretty serious.
Wow.
And it took that person quite a long time to recover. And it was something that was out of my control because, there's nothing I could do. And that was very hard for me.
Okay. External, yeah. Jadi it's an external circumstance, and you feel helpless towards it.
Yeah.
It must be really hard. Gila, luar biasa.
And those are just the things that are out of, and even though, you have a strong mentality and seeing the positive, you have a strong mentality to keep going another day. It's something that dwells inside in the back of your mind. And sometimes you don't know how to share those kind of emotions because you're still trying to, register in your head. But I feel like, I feel like having a really strong faith has helped me with that. So being close to God for me has helped me through a lot of the obstacles that this pandemic has brought. And I feel like this pandemic is sort of blessing in disguise too, because you're really forced to stare at yourself in the mirror. You're really forced to like deal with the reflections, your deep, darkest like issues in the mirror, because you can't go out of the house or go out for a run or escape from it all. You have to deal with it. And that's kind of a blessing in disguise. It's horrible, but I feel like
Banget.
If not now, kapan lagi gitu? How when else are you going to do it? Like, you cannot wait for another pandemic, and we don't even know when this whole thing will go away. So I feel like being close to Allah has really helped me and guided me through each day, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's very inspiring. Tapi yang jelas, kalaupun mengambil waktu untuk deal with all of that, harus baby steps ya, Dinda ya. Baby steps, have a plan, read up, educate yourself, right? What was it? Baby steps, have a plan, educate yourself, and
be kind to yourself.
The 3 elements balance. Be kind to yourself, that's right.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself. Ya, karena itu susah loh. Be kind to yourself itu susah loh. Itu yang terakhir sebenarnya. Karena kita itu mau langsung gitu kan.
Iya. Then I think people are just so focused on what other people feel and think as well that they forget about themselves. And I think it's totally okay to be selfish, to understand and learn who you are as a person, because who else is going to do it? And also, I just want to say,
ada yang akan menjadi champion untuk kita sendiri kalau bukan kita sendiri, ya enggak?
Betul. Another way that I'm dealing with this whole pandemic is the breath work. The breath work is like one stone into 3 elements that I talked about: the mind, the body, and the heart. Because a lot of the stress that we carry as humans shoulders. Jadi kalau misalnya kita ketakutan atau merasa nervous or threatened, as humans, we naturally hike up our shoulders. That's how our body responds. We hike up our shoulders and we sink in our chest. areas within the shoulders, it can become solidified like a rock. Jadi itu akan mencegah tubuh kita untuk mempunyai postur yang indah, yang baik untuk kesehatan kita, and using the power of within our muscles so that oxygen and blood can flow through it, and essentially it can literally lift all of your your baggage, your emotional baggage, all your stress away from your body and make you feel free within your body. So that is something that have also helped me through this pandemic.
Oh, jadi ini rahasianya breathwork sakti dini ini. Dan ini dilakukan setiap hari ya. Nanti akan ada video breathwork buat Strivians yang nonton IG Live ini, akan ada video breathwork-nya Dinda yang akan segera diposting di Instagramnya Strive. Jadi ditunggu aja ya, dicek terus di Instagram Strive. Nanti stay tune, nanti ada dan Dinda bilang, aku sempat gini, oh maksudnya meditasi, kata Dinda begini. Bukan, itu agak sedikit lebih rigorous, jadi daripada meditasi, jadi butuh, emang ada tekniknya ternyata, jadi aku juga penasaran, aku pengen lihat kayak gimana sih breathwork-nya Dinda yang menjadi kunci dari balance body, mind, and heart-nya Dinda ini gitu.
Itu ya.
Yeah, breathwork.
That's right. And the reason I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Kenapa?
Nama tekniknya apa sih? Is this unique to you, or is there a technique? Is there a name?
This
technique?
This breathwork technique is inspired by a Kundalini breathwork technique. It's called the breath of fire, and that's the phase 2 of the breathwork practice that I will share with you and introduce you through a video that we will post in Strive. And the reason why I'm saying that it really covers those 3 elements of the mind, the body, and the heart is because it is sort of meditation in a way through breath work. The body comes in because it's actually a movement muscle of the abdomen. So you're actually working out through this breath work, and that's movement. And the third, how it touches the heart is the release that you get and the feeling within, the freedom that you will feel within your body is how you make connection within yourself. So that's why this breathwork practice is so wonderful, and I feel that everyone should learn how to do it. And I'm so happy that I get to share it with you all tomorrow.
Well, we're happy that you're sharing it with us. You're being very generous, Dinda. Now, we don't have any more questions for tonight. And we've reached the end of our session. Jadi karena Instagram Live hanya bisa untuk 1 jam sayangnya. Nanti lain kali kita bikin sesi tambahan sama Dinda untuk spesifik mungkin ngomongin beberapa tips sama teknik termasuk breathwork ini. Nanti tergantung dari input dari Strivians yang hadir di sini ya. Thank you so much, Dinda, sudah terbuka sekali dengan kita, for being so open and honest about your journey, being,
always a pleasure
tonight. I know it's very, rare of you to do so publicly. You're quite private, so we feel very privileged to be able to see that side of you. And thank you in advance for sharing your, your breathwork technique, so that we may be able to achieve a balanced body, mind, and heart. The way, the way you are at the moment living your days. Iya, ini emang masa-masa susah banget untuk stay sane gitu ya. Aduh, kadang ada hari-hari di mana my body feels like a wreck. Kadang-kadang ada hari di mana kayak aduh just not focused, nggak bisa fokus, gila emang.
That's right.
Emang
take baby steps. baby steps, right? Plan. That's right.
Educate yourself and be kind. I'm gonna put that on the wall, I think.
Do it. I did that. Do it.
Thank you so much, Dinda. Kita pamit dulu ya. Terima kasih teman-teman.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yang udah hadir. Take care. Thank you, Strive, for this Instagram Live. And See you at the next Drive in You episode. Bye.
Bye. Take care.